evening and welcome to the Neighborhood Center. I'm Vicki Anderson, Executive Director at the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center, and my co-host is Maura Bonafede, Employment Specialist at the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. We're going to be talking with you this evening about a few exciting services and projects that we have going on, and we hope that you'll all come and take advantage of as many of them as you can that you think would be helpful to you or members of your family and friends. And we're going to start off with the Job Search Assistance Club.
Okay. All right. We do the Job Search Assistance Club every Monday morning from 9:30 until 10:30. Or they can call up and make an appointment, and I will do a one-on-one, whether it's they need help with a resume or critiquing the resume or even job search, whatever additional help they need. I'll do an individual meeting with people if they call and make an appointment. We cover a variety of topics. We go anywhere from the beginning of resume, how to put it together, and the objective and certain things like that, because as today, as we're learning, employers spend anywhere from 7 to 11 seconds looking at that resume.
That isn't very long,
no.
is it? Wow.
So if you haven't captured them with something that's stand out in the very beginning, chances are you're going to end up in a no pile or a maybe pile. So it's really important as much as but I got all these things I want to tell people. I'm an expert at this, but you got to slim it down and just strike with what they're looking for. And scanning, more and more scanning is taking place with your resume and your cover letter.
Is that
So it's important there that when you look at the ad, if you haven't incorporated some of what they're looking for into your cover letter and also into the resume, you could miss it right there, even though you have the right things.
By scanning, you mean that using words that they've used in the job ad itself?
Something that they're particularly looking for in that field, whether it's a certain type of software that you need to be familiar with, different things like that. So maybe you didn't list that you're good at a certain type of software or access or something, but maybe now you need to incorporate it in there so that it shows up. I met a lady that had been coming to the Job Search Club very frequently. She wrote us a very nice thank you, which you saw in the beginning, about how much she enjoyed what we were, teaching and presenting. And I just ran into her because I tried calling her, didn't reach her in a couple weeks, and I ran into her at a job business meeting I was going to. She just got hired by a good-sized employer in the area. And she said, I think she applied for a little bit of a different job than they hired her for. But when they did a scan and certain words they were looking for came out, it presented to them, this person could fit into this job.
Really?
So it made her available for something that she did have the, skills for, but wasn't really applying for. So it shows that it can open up a big avenue of additional jobs that you have the right things for, or you're the perfect fit. She's totally happy. She's got business cards. It was like she came over to me and was really excited. So that's we've got a lot of different success stories, but that's one that is within the last couple of weeks.
And that's also, it also shows with her writing us back.
Yep.
Not writing us back, but writing to us and letting us know how helpful it was. That's a part of the whole process, really, of staying in contact with a source that helped her. And we remember that, and that makes us feel good that we were able to help somebody, but also that's her name is going to stay in our mind, and should she be looking for another type of job, we can certainly be working with her again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, there are great success stories out there. Every week we do a different topic. Sometimes I'll come up with a plan of what I might want to do for the next 4 weeks, but in the meantime I'll say, is there something this group in particular wants covered? If they do, then I'll just switch out what I was thinking and do something that is going to be beneficial to them that week. Because we did interview questions, mock interview. We did the elevator talk, and the first time around when I kind of asked them, it was like, they didn't know what to say, but they worked at it. And then we went through a whole bunch of the types of questions they may be asked at an interview, and presentation, their body language, the whole 100 yards. And one of the ladies that was in the class had sent off an application to a certain company, and they finally called her, and she came in the following week, and she says, you are not going to believe everything she said, the exact questions you presented, as possible questions they're going to ask, from all the way from tell me about yourself right through, they asked them, and she was so prepared because we had gone over it and she felt comfortable. I say, sit in front of a mirror, see how you look when
That's
you're doing
right.
this presentation. Are you using your hands way too much? Or are you, fiddling, picking on a cuticle, doing some of the nervous things we might do?
Right.
So she did all the right stuff and she got hired. And she also volunteers too. She does, she did, I always tell them, volunteer somewhere, get it on your resume, because then it's going to show, you are actively doing something. And through volunteering, you're networking.
Yes.
So you're also making contacts. Maybe the board of directors comes
Absolutely.
into that business and they say to the director, who is that new person on the front desk? And then the director
Right.
will say, well, they're looking for employment, etc. And he may say, well, I just ran into a worker that is looking for somebody like this. So you don't know where that next job is going to really come from. It may come from an ad in the paper, but it may come from that person in the line in front of you or something.
That's right.
So she did volunteering, and the next thing I tell them is register with a staffing company. We have an awful lot of staffing companies. They've got to go to New London or more towards Providence, but they're really good ones, and they do anything from manufacturing jobs right up through executive or doctors, you name it. They're out there. So that will get you to work and open up some other potential areas for you.
Right.
So a lot of people that are really finding jobs are doing, the different steps that you need to get there. Because just before we came, I happened to look up for Vicky. I go, I wonder how many people, I know a lot more people this past month I called have found jobs. So out of 94 people that are either clients or non-clients that are registered somehow with me, that they're looking for employment, maybe a second job or whatever it is, 35% of them have found employment.
That's incredible.
Which I think is real. I mean, I haven't I still got some more people to contact. Now, a couple of them, they found a second part-time job. And of those, I think 47 have had 47 different interviews have taken place too.
That percentage is exceptional.
I think it's pretty good.
It's really very, very good.
And because there's a lot of jobs out there, and they're really hiring. I mean, I had another girl that came in and she hasn't really worked in a while, etc. We worked on a really good resume for her and a good objective, and she wanted to get back into more like in a deli or meat work or something like that, which she'd done way in the past. So it was, a prior skill. And she went for an interview. She did the drug test, and now, as far as I know, she probably started today or tomorrow. She came back because she needed some shoes, like a good pair of sneakers to wear, and a couple items out of our clothes closet. We're able to give her those.
That's great.
And we also have career
That's
clothes.
good.
If somebody needs a suit for an interview or a man, we have quite a bit of that. But we do supply, even if you're not a client, if you come into Job Club and you need some clothes for the interview, we're going to accommodate you with that as much as we can.
We will. We have a very large clothing closet, but it's really a large room.
Yep.
And we have shoes and many items. We've got purses and accessories to outfits. But if there's something special, work boots or other things, if we know about that, we'll put out an email to the people that we know in our PNC community and say, this is what we need, and it'll more than likely come in.
Yeah,
and
it does.
to benefit that person.
Because people, people really want to help those that want to
They
help
do.
themselves and get back to
They
work.
really do.
So it's a sort of a community, it's our neighborhood, and it's a neighborhood effort. It's not just us alone. It's
Yeah.
everyone out there that donates to us
That's
and
right.
helps all these individuals.
I
But we've
was-
been having excellent attendance because you've walked through several mornings.
I have.
And we've been having at least 7 to 8. I think one morning I had like 10 people show up, and a lot of them are coming regular until they find employment. We have the computer lab, so they're using that more, coming back and sitting down. Like somebody was there this morning, and another friend of his was helping him with an online application. He didn't have an email account, so then I helped him set up for Gmail. 'Cause
Good.
if you don't have one, we can walk you through the steps, how to set up your email account, and that way you can always check it at the PNC, or there are other places around, libraries that you can go check, daily or whatever. And that's another thing we went over. Don't have wacky email addresses
Right,
out there,
right.
because there are a couple companies, if you come out with something that's off the wall, they're not even going to look at your
No,
resume.
they won't.
So it's a good idea to, have something that's professional, something that's, because it's going to speak of you. So if you got some, tree hound or something that's crazy,
Yeah.
keep it for your friends, but set up something that's going to be professional to get that job.
I was at a meeting this morning, and I was telling Maura about it, and they were talking about how can we, as an agency or group of agencies, and the chambers and the Workforce Investment Board, how can we as a together get our region back to work and stimulate the economy? And this is a very important, critical area. And it's good to hear that there are some companies now hiring. It's a slow recovery that Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut, certainly has been going through, and southwestern Rhode Island, but it's moving. It is moving. It's been slow, but it's moving and it's picking up. And some of the larger companies are hiring too. For instance, Electric Boat is hiring. But so are some of the other smaller companies.
You know, summertime always, especially in our area, generates a lot more jobs. So whether it's down at the beach, restaurants, even the grocery stores. Because they've got more people that are going to stop and buy groceries before they go home, or they're down with their summer cottage. So it brings in, so a lot of, our local stores are advertising, and they just put in signs. You walk into Walmart, they got a sign right when you pick up your carriage that they're looking for certain type of individuals. And several of the other stores, the fast food ones, I've seen signs out front because they know word of mouth, and people driving by are going to either say, oh, I need that job, or my friend does, and refers. And it all goes back to networking. I can't convince them enough that, you spend a small portion really job searching, but the bigger portion is networking every day. I mean, you can spend 15, 20 minutes on job search, and then the rest of that time you need to be out networking. You can also, we talked a little bit about cold calling too. You can cold call in businesses. It might not be totally successful, as anybody knows, out selling. But you only need that one hit and you may get it. And we talk, a different subject. One of the things is, I think it's 70% of recruiters are now going to LinkedIn to find candidates, because there they got everything about you. If you've got a good profile, and it'll tell you whether your profile's strong or not, and it'll tell where you worked last, what you're doing, what activities you have, where you went to school. So it gives them a synopsis of, is this a candidate I would like to interview? And then they're sending off, emails to you, because your email address should be on there. That, gee, we got an opening, apply. Doesn't mean you're going to get hired, but they're saying you've got the right things for my position here.
But you're out there and you're visible at all times for people who have a LinkedIn account.
Because it doesn't take them long to go out quickly and find somebody that's got with the profile they need. And it saves, the advertising. They may still have to advertise, but it cuts down that 500 resumes that they don't want, maybe 350 of them. So it cuts it right down to the specifics, whether it's they want a BS or a master's or whatever they want. This candidate has it, and we need to move forward from there. So it's really good. So
well, just from one month to the other, each of our department areas at the neighborhood center, we put together monthly reports, statistics of what's been done, and the one for April that Maura put together showed that 18 people that you had worked with had found employment. The majority being part-time employment, but there were about 3 who were full-time and a couple who were temporary part-time. And that can go either way, it really depends on the needs of the person employing you. But that, to me, the 18 was an amazing number, and our board was very impressed with it. But this particular month of May, you've had even greater success. And another good resource, in addition to what you're doing, of course, is the Connecticut Department of Labor, but now called America's Job Source Center, something like that, at the same location at Shaw's Cove in New London. And their courses are free. Getting there, I think, is an issue for some people in our area, and which is the whole reason why we began this initiative, which is seeing results. And we've been very fortunate that we're able to offer people going for an interview, we can offer them a gas card, or bus passes if they don't have a card in order to get to that interview. We have a limited number, but we've been able to get grant money for that, and that's how we do a lot of what we do.
Primarily, if they do get a job
Yeah.
and they bring in their pay stub, that's
Yes.
what we've really been focusing more on the gas cards.
Yes.
You know, or some other way to help that individual. Like we had one individual, he has no transportation, and he got a job over in Watch Hill, working in one of the restaurants as, I think, a chef or a prep cook. And he rides his bike every day over there, and he just got a second job, but he's so committed that he made that commitment to the first job that he told the second job he'll work there part-time, but he wouldn't just up and quit the first one because they did hire him. So we're able to give him a gift card to get him something for, you know,
Yeah.
food or for his bike or something that he needs, a lock,
Right.
something like that. But it shows, you know, if you really have the initiative to get there, you know, you're going to get there. And sometimes you have to rely on maybe a relative to give you a
Yep.
ride for a little while until something better can happen, because the buses, you know, it is a difficult situation. They might get you there, but they might not get you home.
What's happening in the medical field? Is that still an area that's hiring?
Still pretty much, it's an area that's growing constantly. Well, if you even
Okay.
look, especially from the doctor end, and then as they hire more doctors, then they need more people for, you know, keeping the records and all doing that. So, and you do see a lot of receptionists or different things in the office too for different doctors.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be a little bit on the up. Encoders, as far as medical bill encoders, a lot of people want to jump into that, but so many people did it that in this area there's not enough jobs to
really?
supply it, from what I can see.
Okay.
So I don't always, I go, you know, if we had lived near like United Healthcare or a big insurance company that would be hiring to work throughout their building to do this,
Right.
that's one thing.
Okay.
But when you look at us, you know, you've got the hospitals that might do it, like L&M probably does it now for Wesley Inn together.
Right.
But infrequently do they ever need one, because they hire people and, you know, they're staying on their job, because people, if they like a job, are staying on it, I think, longer if they really
Yes.
like it and
Yeah.
they feel they're being paid, you know, a fair amount. They're not jumping. But again, more people are hiring, you know, the part-time. Your fast food areas are always looking for a lot of different people and things like that. But medical is always going to be an area of growth,
Out.
you know, and especially when you get into the bigger cities, you know, then you've got
Right.
more of an opportunity in things,
Yeah.
which, you know, if you want to travel through Rhode Island, there's an
Yeah.
awful lot of opportunities, you know, into the greater Providence area with all kinds of businesses. But there's just about everything imaginable out there when you go for a job search.
Yeah.
No matter what you put up, you're going to come up with somebody that's looking for that specific thing.
I've been impressed just with our job board posting of
posting,
that you run off the jobs that are open every single Monday. And in the beginning, it was a smaller number, and now it's running
know,
right
right
off the board
downstairs.
onto another bulletin board
It is.
on another
And then one of the
level of the floor.
One of the interesting things is I had a couple of ladies recently have come in that work in manufacturing, and so you think, oh my goodness, manufacturing, there really aren't jobs. Who does
right.
that? Or the ones that do it, you know, they've got people and they're there. But surprisingly, since I've been trying to assist them, you won't believe how many manufacturing jobs are out there. And a lot of them are being done through the temp agency, because they've contracted, because that way they don't have to keep the person if they're not, you know, who they want, and then they take them on. But between here and just going into, if you go as far as North Kingston, there are loads of manufacturing jobs, all kinds of things. Because I started looking a little bit more into it, and I was surprised at how many are out there. We have a lot that are very local too. There's several in the local area, you know, going over into the Groton area. And there's been a lot of job fairs for these areas, like the New London Day has had some. They've revamped their whole job search area. If you go out to their job page, I mean, it lists all the jobs from. It's very nice, very attractive.
Yes, yeah.
And they're having big flashy ads every Sunday in the paper, and I bring it in for the people to look at, of, you know, who's hiring and what they're doing, and it's pretty diversified.
Yeah, and the ads are very nicely designed and very attractive. Very, you know, it makes you want to read them.
Exactly, because
know?
there's even like, and they're companies that aren't right in the immediate area, because even as far as Jewett City, there's some kind of manufacturing plant up there that's looking for like machinists and all kinds of things. So you know, it's hard finding the candidate that's got the right qualifications. So even though there's umpteen thousands of people unemployed, sometimes they don't have all the right things, like computer skills or something that a lot of people don't have. Groton Library this past month had computer classes for the whole month. A lot
did
of our
they?
candidates went there. I'll have to
Good.
check and see if they're doing it again in June. And there's a couple other places that are doing
That's
that
great.
because even though there's some of the younger people, you know, maybe they did a GED for their high school and they didn't get a lot of computer classes in that like you would if you went, you know,
Right.
every single day. So that's a need for more training that way also.
Good, good.
We've
So
got a
there-
lot going on this month anyway, right?
Yes, we do. We'll mention a few other things here that we have going on. But the job search assistance is just,
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
so
it's-
proud of it, and I'm so glad that people are finding jobs and are
Yeah,
being able to,
and the attendance that they're
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
coming because they know it's working.
they know it's
I mean,
working.
the color is your parachute.
Yes.
You know, says 84% of those that regularly attend a job search club find employment.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm seeing it now. The ones that constantly do come, they're finding employment. They're finding better skills at what they're looking for. They're presenting themselves much better, and they're more confident because that's the other part. Is
Right.
you know, maybe
Yes.
they say, "Oh, I don't really have anything to offer." Well, you've got transferable skills from the past or wherever, and we can build on those to get to that
Build on those.
new position that you want. So I think it's working, and it's exciting to see it work
It
too,
is-
because
it
you're going like,
truly,
you know, it's just,
truly is.
but it's
We offer emergency help for food and for energy assistance. And what we've noticed, normally, May 1st is the end of the winter protection program, and that was known always through CL&P and Yankee Gas, and we would have a number of people who would come in and they would need some assistance, a little bit to make up for, to help pay that balance off.
Right.
And we haven't seen as many people. And what we're kind of wondering is because CL&P and Yankee Gas have changed their name to Eversource. So if you've gotten a envelope in your mail that says Eversource, and I think it's in green in the upper left-hand corner, don't throw that away. Open that up. That may be your former CL&P Yankee Gas bill, and take a look at that, and so that you're not a month or 2 months or 3 months behind by the time you realize that may have been something that you threw away and
you're going to have
you
your
know,
power shut off.
your power's going to be shut off, and you don't want that to happen. And we also provide help with supplemental nutrition assistance program, and we have a couple of dates, I think, Maura, that that's going to be happening.
Yep. SNAP will be coming to our facility June 9th and June 19th, and they're there from 9 a.m. to approximately noontime. She takes it as you come in, first come, first served. If she's got a lot of people she didn't get to, she just take names, or you can leave your name and she'll call and set up another appointment for you. But it's come with all your paperwork, and
Right.
she's
Yeah.
she's very accommodating, and you'll hopefully walk out knowing you're going to be getting SNAP. Maybe you didn't send back the letter you were supposed to, those type of things.
Right.
And then we're having the DSS bus come again. It's going to be coming July 13th.
Great.
And that will be there from 9 a.m. to approximately 3 p.m. You do need to make appointments for that. So you need to call and sign up and say yes. And if you tell them I'm there for SNAP, or I'm there for, some other kind of assistance through
Right.
the state, whatever DSS normally provides.
Right.
It's a mobile office. It's awesome,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think they can see at least 3 people at once type thing. So.
Yes,
So please
it's a-
call and start making appointments to come. And we usually call to remind you because it's easy to forget you have an appointment that day.
So those are two things. So we don't do anything that we do alone. So we work with United Community Family Service, who has their employee come to our location.
Yep.
And that's how the SNAP benefits happens. And through the Department of Social Services, they send their mobile bus down
Yep.
to the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center so that people aren't having to go to Norwich if it's they're not able to get there, and they can come to the PNC but make appointments. Call 860. They should call us.
Yep.
599-3285, extension 23, to make an appointment for the DSS bus. And we do all that we do with a small staff, but with about 98 volunteers who come in and work various shifts throughout the month. And we couldn't do it without them. And our staff works very hard and very proud of them. And we're putting the region back to work. And the Stonington Free Library is beginning a story time on June 19th, Friday at 9 a.m. It will be downstairs. And they're going to have a professional storyteller and be making little pirate hats. So any of you with children and are looking for something to do, please come on Friday, June 19th. And thank you for tuning in this evening to the Neighborhood Center, and we'll see you next week.